I was involved briefly with a married man who believed he had the courage to leave his wife to be with me and to live his truth. This isn't the typical story of a married man promising to leave his wife for a secret lover. Rather, this is a story in part about a gay man who knew he was gay before he got married, but chose to marry a woman because he didn't know how to break free. Rocky and I met on a gay social media site 3 months after I returned to the East Coast to live, and just 11 months after he was married. At the time we met, he was living and working in Dubai as a contractor for the government on a military base, while his wife was stationed in Tallahassee, Florida, where they had a home. In one of the first messages he sent me, Rocky shared that he was married, but that he had regrets. He explained that he had come out to his mother and siblings when he was 18 years old. He sat there.
To listen to more of One Thing for Certain, Two Things for Sure, a memoir continued, visit audible.com.
Well, if you would have did your job like you're supposed to, we would be fine.
wait a minute.
So don't be looking at me. Don't look. Stop, Craig. Listen.
That was not me.
This was. You supposed to have all this stuff ready. This was not lined up. Normally, this stuff be in here.
You were in here playing music like it was a full concert in here, and I was like, "Damn."
Yes, I was enjoying. I was letting our panelists enjoy, what's going on.
Are you ready? Did you need a cocktail to simmer down?
No, I'm fine. You started with me.
Is the microphone connected?
It is. They can hear us. They can hear us just fine.
Good day, thinkers, thought leaders, progressives, and dreamers. I'm Craig the Writer Stew.
And I'm Derek J.
And I was going to do the math and figure out how many of these conversations we've actually done, but I didn't. But we're talking about a lot
of things you haven't done today.
We're talking about interracial dating.
Yes.
In the LGBTQ community. Before we get started, I offered Derek one of my good day thinkers, thought leaders, progressives, and dreamers face masks, but he said he wanted the black one.
And they look one ply.
Anyway, we're talking about interracial dating. My Black as Fuck t-shirt is available over there at the website too. We got to get some merchandise so we can keep this going.
That merchandise is for you. They ain't my merchandise.
Anyway.
I don't get no cut off the merchandise.
So when I was thinking about this conversation, we've had this conversation. I've had this conversation, in my personal life too. Like there are a lot of successful Black gay men that are involved in relationships with non-Black gay men.
Yes.
And I do want to name a couple, right? Don Lemon.
Yes.
Lee Daniels. Billy Porter. Karamo Brown. RuPaul. And the list goes on. And for all of the Black women that are watching, we understand that heterosexual women encounter this as well. But in this conversation, we're specifically talking about LGBTQ men who date outside of their race, Black men who date outside of their race. And for me, it was a very personal issue, and it was a very touchy subject for me because I am so Black as fuck, and I didn't like it at one point in my life, right? Especially when a successful Black man ends up dating someone white or someone non-Black, because I just felt like, and this may sound crazy, but I just felt like, man, you done went and made all of this money, and then you taking it right back to the white community. You couldn't have brought up another Black person with that, you know what I'm saying, with those resources. But even when we think about television programming, we don't often see them pair a Black man or two Black men together.
Right.
Like with Empire, I don't know if it was like the second season where Jussie was dating the guy and he was like a Hispanic guy. They'll do Hispanic, but they won't put two Black guys together. And then finally, when they did pair him with the Black guy, the guy was on the DL. It's always these DL relationships. And so for me, I want to see in media, whether it's television, film, whatever, I want to see two Black men in a healthy relationship that's not overly sexualized. That's not an open relationship where threesomes and all of the things are acceptable or permissible, and that's no shade for people who are in open relationships. But just in a healthy relationship, because I believe it's important to have a demonstration. I believe that the media and television really affects impacts how we see ourselves and how we see each other. I'll give you a very brief example, like with the Cosby Show. When the Cosby Show first came on, there were Black people who didn't believe Black people lived the way that they did. Oh, who knows a Black lawyer and a doctor and da-da-da. There were Black people who didn't believe it. But that show changed the way we saw ourselves on television, and it set the precedence for how we see television now. We'll never see a television show fashioned like Good Times, where they're struggling and they're poor. Every show that came after the Cosby Show, they were middle class or rich, period. And so I think the same is important and necessary when it comes to seeing Black LGBTQ people together in relationships.
Gotcha. But on the other hand of it, is that we don't really see it in real life in general. So it's not just because of television, but in real life, you know, TV is reminiscent of what life is and how it's going on. So we don't really have those people standing up and saying, "Hey, I'm in this type of relationship. Hey, I'm here. I'm doing this." You know, we just got like I said, Jason and Adair. We just got them
on Styling Hollywood.
Yeah, we just got them last year. You know, so we don't really have a lot of demonstrations of that. So the question is that I guess for today is, why did you choose to date outside of your race? Did you give up on the Black man as a companion? And you know, where do we go from here?
Now, listen, before we open it up to our panelists down here, I want to speak to that because there were two things that you said that really kind of triggered me. You said we don't really see it in our community, and I agree with that. And part of it is because when we partner, we tend to disappear from the scene. We tend to remove ourselves from the scene. Like I do know, I always think about this one particular couple that I know, and they've been together. I'm 44. They've been together since I was like 24. They've been married for a long time, but they were just together for a period of time, and then they ended up getting married once, you know, marriage was acceptable or allowed. But most times people remove themselves from the scene. And I will tell you, as someone who's in a new relationship, I have no interest in posting us on social media. Like I'm very protective in that way because I've said this for so many years. Gay relationships are very much so reminiscent of celebrity relationships in that once the public knows that you're together, people get to pulling and tearing, trying to, you know, pull you apart. And so I just rather, you know, kind of protect it. But I do understand that it's important for other Black gay men to see us and, you know, so we can be a model for them and for the young generation coming behind us. But I don't know if I want to be the lamb to sacrifice that. You understand what I'm saying?
But see, if everybody has that same mindset, then it will never happen.
Well, Jason and Adair are doing it over there on Netflix. Let them do it.
But you can't.
I'm doing other stuff, Derek.
What are you doing?
I done wrote books for the gays, the Black gays.
All that fictional stuff.
No, that's nonfiction. That's my real life.
But the thing is, you can't. You are a living, walking oxymoron, sweetie. You can't speak this all righteousness about what needs to be happening, but like that's what's wrong. That's what's wrong with DL men. That's what's wrong with masculine gay men. That's wrong with everybody. Be like, you know what? Somebody needs to do it, but it won't be me. Right. But that's not. I mean,
right. No, I understand what you're saying. I mean, of course, I'm joking.
No, you're not.
No, I am joking because I don't want to be a social media.
Okay.
I do understand that it's important to be visible because representation matters. I do get that. But I want us to really dig into the conversation because, and I want to share this and I want to open it up to you guys down here that are on the panel. I used to have ill feelings towards Don Lemon because we've talked about this, right? Yes. So Don Lemon, for those of you who don't know, of course, is on CNN, but he was living here in Atlanta at one time. I don't know if he still does or not. I know he's in New York, between New York and here, but he was living here in Atlanta. And I remember being over at one of the little white bars over on Cheshire Bridge, right? And I approached Don Lemon.
You know, being fast.
Well, you know, I handed him my business card, and you know, I didn't know.
Oh, that's how it starts.
I didn't know he was one of the snow bunnies.
Gotcha.
For the people that are watching, they don't know what a snow bunny is. It's the black gays that date the white gays. Mm-hmm. So I didn't know he was a snow bunny. Mm-hmm. So I gave him my car, and then he kind of looked at me or whatever, and just kind of took the car, and and that was it. But then fast forward, I was in a restaurant, and he was there, and someone there was telling me that he's into the white boys.
Gotcha.
And they was like, he's in a long-term relationship with a white guy. Da 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 da. They said some other stuff. I won't go into that. And I had ill feelings towards him, and it didn't change until probably about a year or so ago. He was on Red Table Talk. Some of you guys may have seen that episode. And what he explained sounded to me like it wasn't a choice, or that he decided to just eliminate or exclude black gay men as an option. Rather, it was more that the further he climbed in his career, the higher he ascended, the fewer there were of us that were there who were out. Not that we weren't there and successful, but we weren't there and out. And he said he didn't want to be in the closet. And I understand that.
But my question to you is that why did it bother you?
Because I don't like when a black person, male, female, straight, gay, bisexual, whatever, I don't like when a black person says, I date only outside of my race, because then I think you have issues with your sexuality.
But the thing is, though, he didn't say that.
He didn't say that. That was what I perceived. That's what I'm saying.
So you got mad at him because of what you made up in your head.
Correct.
Okay, I just want to make sure we all clear.
Yeah. Okay. So I apologized in my head.
Okay.
I forgave him in my head when he appeared on Red Table Talk, because I felt like I understood that. Mm-hmm. Because like I said a moment ago, I'm in a very new relationship, but I had been single for about 7 years, right? Mm-hmm. I've dated, but I've been single for about 7 years. And I was feeling like, well, shit, if I was attracted to white men, I'd be dating me a white man right now. Because I was just really frustrated with black men.
But you're not attracted to white men.
I'm not attracted to white men. And I understand for the black women that are watching and listening, I understand that our true connection, when I say our, I mean black gay men and black women, I understand that our true connection is that we have similar issues and frustrations and heartaches dealing with black men, in dating and loving black men. That's really what binds us. On the surface, most people think that we're connected because we enjoy fashion and all of those things. But underneath all of that, it's really because we have similar frustrations in love in relationships with black men. Mm-hmm. So I want to hear from you guys. Do you intentionally date outside of your race, or what's your
So that's do I need to start producing you now?
That. Go ahead.
Because I know you get. So we're gonna bring up Theodore first. Why are you laughing?
Because you're a mess.
why didn't even do nothing?
You said, do I need to start producing?
I just want to make sure, because you get real and you drinking too. So I don't tell us what happened. Hey, Theodore.
Hey, guys.
How are you?
How are you?
Same to you.
You too.
So talk to us about your journey into the swirl. Well, wait. I'm assuming you're dating a white person. So I mean, is it what's the ethnicity of the person you dated?
He's white. My current
okay. Yeah. Okay. And how long y'all been together?
So we've been together for 2 years and 3 months now.
Oh, okay.
2 years
and 3 months.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. 2 years. Okay. So talk to us about that journey and why did you go this route? Talk to me about that.
And what city are you in? I'm just curious.
I live in Lynchburg, Virginia.
Lynchburg.
Oh, the irony of that.
The funny thing is, I went to school at University of Maryland. I'm from DC originally. And so whenever I tell people that I'm from Lynchburg or that I live in Lynchburg, like that's the response, especially from Black people. So yeah, my current boyfriend is white. I will preface this relationship with the fact that my previous boyfriend of a year and a half was Black. And I am one that I grew up in a household where my mother is Black, white, Filipino, Indian, Chinese, Cuban, and Spanish. And passes as Latina or white if she doesn't have a tan. My father is Black. And so growing up, I was exposed to both living in the hood, as well as living in a white rich neighborhood. And so I think I have a blended experience when it comes to my upbringing. Both my parents have been in the home my entire life. I watched them go through struggle and, deal with the things that come from being a person of color. But I also, because of certain members of my family, I do have white people, of course, in my family, there was a lot of bigotry and racism that we kind of just lived in. Including
Theodore, let me ask you real quick. Are you able to turn your volume up? Because they keep saying they can barely hear you.
Or get closer to your mic.
Yeah. Hopefully that's better.
Okay, go ahead. Finish where you were.
So even having a grandmother who kind of chastised my mother for dating a dark-skinned man. My father is, as we would say, blacker than black. And my mom, being a very light woman, celebrated blackness. We tanned as children, like watching my mom tan. We learned that, oh, black's beautiful, so you want to be darker, and put tanning oil over the summer and try and get darker and darker and darker for the winter. And so being raised in that, when it came to dating, I've dated all across the spectrum. My first serious relationship was with a man from Honduras. My second relationship was with a man from Puerto Rico. I've dated white, I've dated black, and currently I'm dating a white man. And I'm very open and fluid to love. I don't think I was raised to believe that any nationality is above anyone else. And my mom, I think my mom was very influential in celebrating black. However, there were still, again, a lot of things that growing up still could have, pushed me to being what I would believe is a Craig. Someone who believes that, like, no, you stay within, like, let's not go outside of our race. And being a person that is an artist, and I'm trying to, move forward in my career, that's something scary, especially being in a long-term relationship for the gays, with my current boyfriend, because I'm like, okay, when I do become successful, is this going to be the conversation that people have around my relationship? And I'm going to have to defend that. And that's a scary place to sit in, especially when I am very pro-black. I am very black as fuck, as you would put it, Craig. And watching your discussion last night to preface this discussion, I love that you kind of brought up the topics of, like, loving that Kamala Harris is the VP pick for the next election. Going and marching. We went and marched for not only Black Lives Matter, but also all Black Lives Matter, which included the LGBTQ community. And I'm very vocal about that, even to the point where right now I'm in a standstill with his family. So kind of going to Derek J, your point yesterday with that conversation, what happens in an interracial relationship with the families? And we've had some interesting discussions based off of what is happening now in the world and what your opinions are and what your views are.
Now, is he from Lynchburg?
He's originally from Ohio.
Okay.
But they've been living here for quite some time.
So my question is, do you find yourself shrinking in those conversations with him or with him and his family? Or do you stand flat-footed and unapologetically black?
I'm very much like, that's not right. I mean, I have text messages that I've written books, like, well, when Homegirl posted some things about Candace Owens and I like her views and so on and so forth. My first thing is, like, as a white person, throwing those people out as your clout, your way of saying, that the Black Lives Matter movement is not a movement that you need to get behind, I'm not that person. I'm not the person to bring any of that information, because I'm an educated Black man. And before I love anybody, I am an educated Black gay man. So I'm going to protect all realms of that. And so I think that is again, it goes back to my experience, my upbringing. My mom, again, celebrated these things, but she taught us to stand firm in what we believe in and who we are, regardless of who's, and
do you find like the racial climate now being like tense on your relationship or adding extra stress to your relationship?
I know that it has the potential to, so I make sure to open the floor for us to have those conversations. I think that a lot of times, especially with things like that, we tend to overthink and process. Well, I don't know if I want to bring this to them because I don't know if it's going to create a sticky situation. Ultimately, whether you keep it bottled up or not, it's going to be a sticky situation. So
and see, let me just say this right there. But see, that right there is part of the reason why I also don't want to date white, because if I feel like I want to say something about race, or I'm going to say it. I don't give a damn if you feel like, and I don't mean you, but I'm just saying, if I was dating a white guy, I'm not going to be thinking like, well, maybe he don't feel like having a conversation tonight, because it.
But I think that's kind of unfair, Craig. Because
but see, that's what I'm saying. That's one of the reasons.
What I'm saying, but not just.
I'm very much with you. Like, I'm not, and that's what I feel with anything, regardless of if it's a black and white thing or why you didn't wash the dishes or whatever.
Yeah, like, but I think that every relationship is a compromise. And you know what I mean? And
but see, I can't compromise who I am. I can't compromise my blackness. That's why I specifically asked him, does he find instances where he shrinks in his blackness? Mm-hmm. And like, when you were speaking a moment ago, it made me think of the movie Something New. And I don't know if you guys remember that. It was with Sanaa Lathan, and she was dating the white guy. Mm-hmm. And there was a scene when they were in the grocery store, and she was having issues going on in corporate America. And they were walking through this grocery store, and she wanted to talk to him about it. And he said to her, I mean, can we just have a night off? Like, I don't want to hear about the black tax. I don't want to hear about this. She said, no. She said, no, because as a black person, you don't ever get a night off. Mm-hmm. And that would be me.
But I do think Theodore and Craig is that, but also dating in that space, they don't understand that space. You know what I'm saying? So my thing is that because they're not being unapologetically white on you all the time. I mean, if that makes sense. So the thing is that you can't force your blackness because you're standing strong in your blackness, and you got to understand my blackness all the time. But you're not going to understand their whiteness. I guess that's.
I would push back on that because. Let me say this. I was going to say I would push back on that because they are exerting their whiteness at all times. Because their entitlement and their privilege is all around us in this country. It's in media. Whether you're talking about television, film, newspapers, magazines. So it's like, I need you to understand. I don't know. I just need you to step out of your whiteness if you're gonna be with my black ass. But
once again, my question is to you is that why can't you're asking him to step out of his whiteness and come to your blackness, but yet you won't step out your blackness to step into his whiteness.
I'm 44. I've been in your whiteness all my life. I've had to learn the Pledge of Allegiance.
We're not going to go back.
I've had to understand white culture. I have to understand white history. Wait, white folks don't even understand black history.
First of all, go ahead, Theodore.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Theodore.
That is a part of those beginning dates that you're having. And you're having these conversations at the dinner table or what have you. Like, I want to see where you are, because I feel like that's what you sign up for. When you're saying, as a person outside of the black race wanting to date us, that's what you're signing up for. Like, you are signing up to celebrate my blackness every single day because I'm black. And the struggle has been real. And if you don't understand it, then there's no way that we're going to see eye to eye on anything else. Because again, I'm black first. Like, you know, so even, and going to kind of Craig's point, I have grown up in your whiteness. When we compared movies that we've seen, I've seen a whole heck of a lot of movies that are considered white. But I have a whole catalog of Black movies that we had to start. We sat down and we went through Menace to Society. We went through Set It Off. We went through Waiting to Exhale. We went through all of these things because it's like, okay, you don't have that experience, so I'm gonna give it to you, and you don't have to take it because I'm Black and I enjoy these things, and these things have a significant place in my culture. And when you come to the cookout and we're making jokes about X, Y, Z that we've seen in the Black community or what have you, you got to get it. Because I don't want you to, as my partner, be the odd white boy out. Like that's not.
Wait, Craig.
Go ahead,
Theodore. We're gonna drop you down because we'll be back and forth all night, and we're gonna drop you down. And
but when we drop him down, I'm gonna make my point.
But I want it because I see people the comments, and I'm not saying. My thing is this: what I'm hearing, and maybe I'm hearing it wrong.
Come on, beloved.
But what I'm saying is that if you made a conscious decision to date somebody outside of your race, right? It is not fair to them for you to say, okay, white boy, I'm gonna date you, and you got to take everything Black, but I don't want to hear none of your white. And that's basically what y'all are saying. Y'all saying, listen, you go, I'm Black, I'm 100% Black, and you got to be in my Blackness all the time. And you know
that's not what I'm saying.
That's what it sounds like.
What I'm saying is, I was raised in this country. I'm 44, so I already know white culture.
It's not even about white culture.
That's what it is. I've seen Bridges of Madison County. I need you to see The Fucking Color Purple.
But wait,
I've seen.
So wait, no, that's a different conversation. I understand that.
But what I'm saying is, I'm already immersed in white culture. I need you to do your work and at least not be so lazy that you step out of your whiteness. I need you to step out of your whiteness and at least and I respect Theodore for saying, okay, these are the movies that are important to me. Like, these are the things that I've seen, or these are the things that are important in Black culture. But if I date a white guy, I'm gonna need you to have already done some of this shit. I don't want to have to teach you everything.
I get that part.
Okay.
But what my thing, I don't think that it's wrong if you are in a relationship and you going off about whatever, if it's you, whatever 100 Black thing you got going on for the day, and he says, hey, can we just like chill out? You can't be upset with him for that.
No, but I can leave him. Okay, let's bring up the next one.
Oh my goodness. Lord have mercy. Golly, I'm sorry, so much popping up. So, Anthony. Hey, Anthony.
Hi, how you all doing?
Oh, good. How are you? Move your camera, babe. There we go.
Oh, there we go.
Yes.
Okay, so this conversation is already starting out interesting. I'm not loving it already. So my name is Anthony Cathy, aka Necessarily Anthony. I'm from Hyde Park in Chicago.
Okay.
It's so crazy to me because I say that I'm necessarily Anthony because I have no other person to be. With my Black skin, with my femininity, with me being gay, queer, non-binary, this is who I am. I'm necessarily Anthony. This is what was given to me. This is who I am every day of my life. So what baffles me is that how I feel like I have to relationships with other people, other races, particularly white people, how I feel like I have to dim myself down or succumb to whatever they want me to be because they're the superior race, so they feel like that they have priority over me. I've dated a bounty hunter before in my 20s. I'm 35. I was 24. I dated a bounty hunter. He was white. And I used to be a cheerleader in college. I used to be a stuntman. And it's so crazy because he dated a stuntman before me, but I guess somehow something happened. They stopped dating, but he had his picture still on his mantle. And he was Black. So I asked him, I said, do you have a fetish for Black people or Black guys? He told me, it's something about guys who are black that turns him on. So as I got more and more to the conversation, most white guys, they have fetishes. It could be a BBC, it could be their aesthetic. It's a lot of things that other races pin themselves to black guys for. So you have to be very careful when it comes to dating outside of your race as well, because most people have fetishes, or they want this desire, or they want this aesthetic of what a man is when it comes to black people, the thug mentality, or things like that. It's really crazy because I haven't dated a white guy since then, and the reason being is because I refuse to dim my light. I refuse to dim out who I am. I don't celebrate Hanukkah. I don't celebrate all of that stuff. But I guarantee you, if I dated a white guy, he will experience all of that, honey. He will experience it all. I would have on my Kuta Kente cloth. We were saying all of the 7 days of Umoji, whatever. We'll be saying it all because he would have to know everything about me.
Kwanzaa.
Yeah, he would have to know all of that. Yes.
Like, you a Jew?
But wait, so let me ask you: were you intentionally dating white, or it just happened?
No, I would say it did happen because I dated an Indonesian guy before. I've dated a Latin guy before. Sometimes these things just happen. You get in a conversation with someone, or you find yourself attracted to them in some way. But for me, aesthetically, I'm attracted to black guys because I think culturally, social economic behaviors tend black people who have never left their surroundings to be interested in other black guys. For me, how I learned that there was other cultures and other people that I can like and be intrigued by is because I was in a foster care system half of my life. So I was surrounded by other white people, other cultures because of that reason. A lot of people in my family, they've never had this experience before. So I can definitely say when you're the first of a lot of things, it's difficult to relate to other black people too, when they don't understand those differences that you have experienced and your mindset, because it triggers something different in your mindset and you start to think different. So dating outside of your race is taboo to some black people. I would say most black people who have never left their subset because it's different for them.
Well, I guess I want to use the right word, but I want to say irritating me, but I guess I want to say frustrating me about this conversation is that in any relationship, there is compromise, and there has to be a give and a take in any relationship. And I just feel that if you shouldn't be in a relationship with somebody that makes you dim, that you have to feel like you dim your light. But I feel that you could be in a multicultural relationship where y'all both can uplift each other, and that's why. But I feel like everybody's like, you dating a black person and I'm black and you gotta do, and that's wrong. Like you can't. And so the thing is, but that's why you don't date a white person.
Absolutely,
I get it. But all I'm saying is that, but that's not how you go into a relationship.
No, I understand that
because they're heterosexual relationships where men make women feel
subservient
and things like that, or where women make men feel a certain way, and it's all these things going on. But I think because the person is white, we just take it to a whole nother level of stuff.
I can agree with that, and I would add to that. For me, the overarching thing of what I'm saying is, if I'm dating someone white, I need you to be sensitive of black issues. Like you can't be completely oblivious to what's going on.
I understand that. But the thing is though, but they can be sensitive, but you gotta remember that a lot of this stuff is a lot. Hell, it's a lot for us. Hell, I don't want to hear a lot of this shit half the goddamn time. So I can only imagine a white person and talking to their black partner, and then every day it's like la 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 la.
Well, no, not every day.
But no, bitch, you'll be a black as fuck every motherfucking goddamn day.
Well, listen,
and I get it. I know you gotta deal with it every day,
right? Because the way they shooting and killing down black people, black children, black women, black men. I need to talk about that shit.
I know, we're talking with your black friends.
No, I need to talk about it with your white ass, because that's who I'm laying in the bed with, hypothetically. You see how I threw that in there, hypothetically. but what I wanted also too is, and I hope somebody in this panel can speak to this, because when we were talking about this last night, one of the things that I wanted to introduce in this conversation too was it is hard dating Black men.
Yeah.
Now I'm not going to say that. Now there a lot of times, you know, Black folks, especially Black gays, the girls that, you know, really think they forward thinking, you know, they always want to try to make it seem as if, well, what are you doing wrong? And that, as if the shit ain't hard. Right. Because when I think about my friendship group, ain't many of y'all in no relationship. And like I said, my shit is so new, the ink ain't even dry. You understand what I'm saying? So I want to speak about the facts about that as well. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, I was getting frustrated and I was starting to explore and think, well, shit, I might need to try to explore outside of my race, not necessarily white, but Hispanic or something, Cuban, you know, because I was getting frustrated. And it's just like, shit, I'm ready to share my life with somebody. I'm ready to do this. I'm ready to do that. And what I will say to you is the reason why I sympathize or empathize with what Don Lemon said on Red Table Talk is because I too have felt as the more education you have, the more successful you become or whatever, it's almost like it's difficult for Black men to be able to handle that. It's almost like they want, and again, I know my Black women that date men are understanding what I'm saying because you have this in common. It's almost like when you are standing on your own, you're capable of standing on your own. A lot of Black men their egos can't handle that. And someone that I was dating recently said to me, well, Craig, I can't do anything for you. I'm used to dating people who need their cell phone bill paid. You know what I mean? Like things like that. Like they have this need to feel needed.
So Anthony, because of your experience, white men ain't for you no more, huh?
Well, I'm not going to say that they're not for me. Now, I'm going to tell you another scenario. A couple of years ago, up north, we had a speed dating. And it was kind of like to bridge the gap between certain cultures and communities. Because in Chicago, everything is so divided. I actually live in an area where we have different diversities because of the university over here. So everybody lives in this area, but nobody seems to coexist in terms of talking with each other, interacting, mingling. So I went to this speed dating thing a couple of years ago up north. However, when I went there, I think out of maybe 30 people, there was like five Black guys, and all the rest of them were white. So I still proceeded to do it. I would say 9 out of 10 of the questions it was pertaining to how big my dick was.
Oh.
And it's like it's such a most guys are fantasizing over Black men. Most white guys, I'm being honest. This is all I've ever seen. Even for Latino guys, because I have a best friend who's Latin, and in their culture, they have European Mexicans, and they also have the Aztec Indian, the tribal Mexicans. And they are even separated because of their cultures, and they don't date certain people because they feel like they're more whiter than they are Mexican. So it's really crazy how people think. And I think, like I said, it's social economic beliefs and behaviors, what you've been taught, what you're not seeing, and then how you exist in that and what your mind frame is. So I think people need to be more introduced to the things that they're not seeing in their communities. I think that's what the issue is. They're not being introduced to things that are different. So they're growing up thinking that this is the only thing that they have to succumb to, and this is the only thing that's out there for them. I'm not obliged to dating white or any other race. I'm just saying that with me, if you want me, you have to take everything that comes with that. And I'm not telling you to be my therapist. I'm not telling you to be the person to sit up and listen to me every night about my Black issues. I'm saying get ahead of it before I can even say anything to you. Because if you know you want to date a Black guy, then you should be educated on it. I shouldn't have to tell you.
So on that note, we're gonna drop you down, Anthony, and bring you back up in the end for a whole roundup. Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks, babe. So Craig, before we bring Dion up, you let them talk, okay? I know you're passionate about this.
I'm very passionate.
I know, but you got.
I'm gonna let y'all talk, but I'm gonna say what I gotta say too.
I know, but you got to keep it quick.
Right.
Short.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, Craig. Hey, Dion. Wait.
Hey, y'all. How y'all doing?
We're good. How are you?
I'm good.
So,
hold on one second.
Are you dating? Did you tell me to hold on? You got another call?
No, I'm sorry. My nephew was in here. I was just.
Oh, okay. So, are you dating right now?
I am not dating right now. No.
But so then, your last boyfriend, was he of a lighter persuasion?
My last boyfriend was Black. Or the last person I talked to, actually, I never really had a boyfriend, I would say. But I am open to interracial relationships. I don't see what's wrong with, dating outside of your race. I think I'm more so with you, Derek J. I don't see the issue with it as long as you find somebody that is sensitive.
Oh, wait. Wait. I don't see it. I mean, I'm not dating nobody white neither. Let's get.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Right. Because communication is our friend. Clarity is our friend.
Yeah.
I'm clarifying it. I'm not personally, but I do understand, and I want to have an understanding. But yeah, I'm down with Black. But go ahead.
Got you.
Well, but the thing is, but what would make you have the option of, like, say, like for you to say, hey, I'm open to dating interracially. What brought you to that conclusion?
I think I've had my fair share of dating, my race. And I'm fine. Like everybody, if you know me, you know that I do love a dark-skinned man. It's just something about dark skin that I love. And I love dating Black people. I have nothing against it. But I'm also just willing to date outside of my race. I feel like though the way I present myself in real life or even on social media, I don't get approached this much by people outside of my race. And that's where my problem is. Because I would love to date outside my race, but I never had the opportunity to do so.
Okay, so are you going to intentionally seek out this relationship?
Yeah, well, I get to a point to where I'm like on Tinder. Well, yes, I have a Tinder account. And if y'all don't know what that is, it's like a swipe left, swipe right type of thing for if you want. Yeah, if you like a certain person.
I always swipe right on all the white people.
Right. Exactly. Okay.
Yeah,
and even with that, I found myself even putting it in my bio, which is
I swipe left on all the white people. I swipe left. I go this way.
Okay. Well,
I go this way. I swipe left.
Well, I will say one time before I had in my bio, which was probably a little extra, but I had in my bio, I don't have any racial hangups. But I think that's just a little bit. It's a little extra, but I just want people to know because I feel like a lot of people outside of my race are kind of hesitant. That's the way I think about it. I think they're hesitant to date someone who is Black because maybe they feel like they have to be ultra sensitive to, what the Black plight is. And I get that. And, Black people, we do go through a lot, yes. And they do have to be sensitive about what a Black person's struggle is, but I have no hangups in dating outside of my race. I feel like I can teach you, I can guide you if need be.
Okay, well, Deanne, we're going to drop you down for a second.
Okay,
we're going to bring you right back up.
To the point that he just made, I've said this plenty of times. I do believe that relationships are the place that we go to learn and grow. And if you're not interested in learning or growing, then you don't need to be in a relationship. And what I'm saying is, I'm circling it back. If I'm in a relationship with somebody white, you need to be prepared to learn and grow Black stuff, Black history, Black culture, because I already know your stuff. I already know your stuff. So, but I was hoping that we had somebody on the panel who was like, I'm done dating Black men. I'm sick of their shit.
Well, the thing is, do we have that person? Do we have?
I don't know.
Well, no, I'm saying, do we have that person in the chat? And do we have that person in the chat we're asking you if you're like, I'm done with Black men. I'm only sticking with white men.
There was too many issues dating Black men. We want to hear from you.
Yes, so we're gonna put that in here, and then we got to get our next panelist up. And since Craig was quiet on this next one, I can let Craig. You can talk now.
Thank you, Marlon. I appreciate the super chats. But no, okay. Well, we're gonna bring on Kyle. and hear his take. I think he said one time before that he was in a relationship. Are you in an interracial relationship?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Go ahead.
Kyle's a friend of the show.
He is a friend of the show.
Hey, y'all. So just kind of like a background about me and my relationship. So I am dating someone who is white. I'm sorry.
How long you guys been together?
What is this? 22 years? 2 years and some change?
Wait,
no. 2 years and some change.
I thought they said 22.
2 years and some change. That was not an intentional thing. I wasn't trying to date outside of my race. It was just whoever liked me and whoever I vibed with and whoever kind of reciprocated what I was putting out at the time. It just kind of rolled that way. I talked and messaged to guys on dating apps that were of all races.
Had you dated a white guy before this?
Not seriously, no.
Okay.
But this has been my most serious relationship. And so, I think I asked pretty early on in our talking and kind of dating phase. I said, okay, well, have you dated, Black men or outside of your race in general before? And his answer was yes. And so then my kind of red flags went off, and I was like, okay, is this a fetish thing for him? Similar to how someone else said before, or is it that you just, you're kind of open-minded the same way that I am, where it's like, whoever vibes with me or whoever is interested in me for me, then that's who I, gravitate towards. And so after kind of talking and having conversations, I felt comfortable and confident in knowing that it wasn't a fetish thing for me, from him to me. But there's still I think when you go into an interracial relationship, really when it comes to Black people in general, but in this case specifically Black gay men, when you date outside of your race, you're cognizant of the fact that not just within the United States, but globally, when it comes to beauty standards, when it comes to socioeconomic opportunities, when it comes to just people not looking at you with a side eye, globally, there's this issue with people of a darker skin tone. Even within the Asian communities, it's all about who. I think it's Korean and Japanese cultures.
Let me bring you back, because we just really want to speak about Black, white, mostly.
Right.
So
and why you chose.
So my question to you is, during this climate of this Trump era, white folks smelling themselves out here saying all kinds of shit, have you experienced anything directly? And this is for those of you where nobody is in a current relationship with someone except for Theodore. Have you experienced anything with your partner at a Walmart, at a gas station, where you had to check a bitch or something, and your white partner just kind of stood there and didn't understand it? Or
you are just an angry Black man.
The answer is no for me. I haven't had to.
And then as far as the conversations about what's happening, how is that working in your relationship right now?
Now, I will say, because of the climate that 2020 has been, with everything going on with racial injustices and just everything in general, we have had more intentional conversations, and we have had a lot of back and forth dialogue about our thoughts on different things, about how, what is the whole driving while Black thing, and how, as a culture, Black people, especially Black men, I had to have the conversation given to me by my mom saying, okay, when I was just driving, she had a BMW. Well, you have to be careful where you're going. Make sure you're driving the speed limit.
So have you two, Kyle, let me guide you back. Have you two had tense conversations where he just didn't fucking get it, and you were really frustrated, like, look here?
Mm-hmm.
Well, this is the thing. Because I'm dating someone who is white, I can't expect him to get everything. And the reason why is because, like you mentioned earlier, we're in a place where systemic racism, white supremacy is what we're all brought up in. And so he's going to have to understand that I'm Black and I've been oppressed by this system.
But my question, Kyle, is you two had a conversation where it's gotten really tense and you are really frustrated with him because he's just not getting it. Whether it was with George Floyd getting killed, Ahmaud Arbery, this boy, what was his name, Rashawn, who got killed at the Wendy's here in Atlanta. Have you guys had conversations where it just wasn't connecting for him and you were just frustrated?
No, he's understood where I'm coming from as a Black person witnessing other Black people get killed. And so we haven't had that conversation yet, maybe, you know, where it's just been, he's just not getting it. He's not understanding. It's just that disconnect because he's just not Black and he's just not going to understand why there are things that have been my reality and that are reality that just constantly go against us. But we haven't had that conversation where it's been that one topic or those certain topics where he's been very much, okay, I just don't get it. Like, I don't agree, all of that kind of stuff.
So you've never like disagreed on any particular topic?
No.
As it relates to like race.
Well, so I think that what I got it from Kyle is that Kyle has more of an understanding feel towards the relationship than you would, Greg. You know, I think that he understands the conversation and he works through the conversation, unlike you. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, if I was dating a white person, I would just be frustrated because just seeing the shit that white folks are doing in this era, and it's not all white people, right?
But I'm just saying white people as a system, as a whole, like whether we're talking about DACA as it impacts Hispanic people, whether we're talking about the way they put them Hispanic children in cages, whether we're talking about the police system and how unarmed Black folks are getting shot and killed. Like, when I move through the world and I'm looking at white folks and I'm like, how can you exist and not speak out?
But once again,
I'm just saying.
I get it. I understand what you're saying. And I understand wholeheartedly what you said, and I'm with you. But you know, I'm always just have to see the logical side of this thing also.
I see the logical side.
But the thing is, that conversation can go both ways. You know, because as much as you want this person to understand what you got going on and what you're feeling and what's happening in this world, on the same token, they're looking at our situation as Black people and like, well, how are y'all letting this happen? And y'all not standing up for yourselves and doing anything about this. Well, how are y'all letting this happen? And, you know, they want to understand the same thing too. Like, you know what I'm saying?
But how are you using your whiteness to help understand or bring resolution? That's my question. Because when I move through the world and I see white folks who may not be in collusion with all of this stuff, but how is it that you exist and you don't even speak up? You don't even use your voice because you're complicit. If you're standing by and saying nothing, you see Black folks unarmed getting shot and killed. You see Hispanic kids getting put in cages because they would not allow white folks to get put in cages like that.
Yeah, but let me say this too. I think it's also, and this is what I was saying earlier, is that because we've all been raised and grown up and groomed to an extent in this society that is heavily white, Black people have all this stuff going on. Black people over here, like, well, this has been going on. We've been saying this, like we've been screaming, we've been yelling for justice and all of this stuff. And then there are those white people who don't, because racism isn't always just shooting somebody Black. It's not always just profiling someone or stereotyping someone. There are also very minimal, I won't say minimal, but there are microaggressions that people do as well. And so I think those for white people are harder to catch on to. Well, I don't think I'm racist.
Well, because racism isn't just about how people treat you. It's also the things that they exclude you from. Access to quality education, et cetera, et cetera.
But Greg, the thing with this conversation is I think one with you, you're not getting the information that you want to get out of this conversation.
Right.
So that's frustrating you.
For sure.
And I mean, you're not getting what you want to get out of this conversation, which is making you frustrated. And then two, we have to also remember that we're just talking to two people that are dating currently, you know, white people. You know, Anthony had his experience, but we're talking to two people amongst all the other people that's been out here. There are people out here that probably have these experiences that you want to talk about, but these people just don't have.
All right. So, okay, let me ask you this. Have you had issues with his family?
I haven't.
Or his friends around race?
I haven't. And I'll say this too. A lot of his friends are also Black. And so, but now I didn't take that as, oh, well, he automatically knows all about Black people. And he also, because we've had that conversation, I'm thinking, okay, well, just because you have Black friends or I've dated Black before, that doesn't mean that you're going to get me, because all Black people aren't a monolith. And so I think he understands that also as well, is that I don't care who you dated in the past or how many Black people or whatever you dated, you need to also understand that, yes, I'm Black, but I also come with other things as well that make me me at the end of the day.
So how has it been different? Because this is the first white guy you've dated.
Mm-hmm.
How is it different in comparison to dating Black men?
Honestly, I haven't had terrible dating experiences. So I'm not the best person to ask about that, just because I haven't seen a major difference outside of the things that you just assume where somebody else is Black. So they're going to know what I'm going through. They're going to know and understand, the hardships that I have that I can't even help as or someone white who wouldn't understand that. But I haven't had any terrible dating experiences, and I haven't had to swear off all Black men or all white men or men in general.
Okay, good. That's what we were. Long as the brothers still got a chance here. That's what. So, we're gonna drop you down, and we're gonna start bringing everybody back up to round this off. Okay, man.
Okay.
So, Craig. I know where you want this conversation to go tonight.
Yeah,
I know where you wanted to go, but I'm sorry we didn't get that tonight.
Because I do understand the difficulties and challenges that come with dating Black men.
Right.
And what I didn't say earlier was, and I understand the systemic issues, because a lot of times when we voice that truth, a lot of times Black gays don't like to hear that truth spoken out loud. They say, well, it ain't better to date somebody white. I'm not saying that it's because you're going to just trade one set of issues for a different set of issues. And like you said earlier, relationships really are about sorting through and working through issues, problems, circumstances, and compromising. Right. But for me, I just choose not to sort through compromising issues around race, and that, I don't want to do that. But I also wanted this conversation to highlight, just the challenges that come because of internalized homophobia, because of the church, because of the Black family, the Black community, all of those things. So I do understand it, because I really was hoping that somebody would come on here and say, well, yeah, I kind of got frustrated with dating Black men. So I just figured I would try over here. And you know what? It's been a breeze. It's been wonderful.
I mean, well, Kyle's having a great relationship over here.
But he also said that he's never had issues with Black men either. So that wasn't really the example either. But I mean, this was really still interesting to hear.
Well, I mean, Theodore is militant Black man just like you. But I did read in this comments, which I can agree with, is that how can you be Black as fuck dating a white man? So that is kind of an oxymoron to the situation that And Theodore, if you still with us, I see your that if you thumbnail. You thought, okay, there you go, you back with us. So that is a valid question.
Like, how can you be Black as fuck while dating a white man? Well, again, because I'm Black, so I just feel like when it comes to
hold on, Theodore, you can't just say because you're Black, because the Attorney General down there in Kentucky, the Breonna Taylor's Attorney General, what's his name?
Black too,
Daniel Cameron. He's Black,
but he's not Black as fuck.
Right, and he's not Black as fuck, and he's married to a white woman, and he still has not prosecuted the officers that killed that lady.
Yes.
Well, I think that it goes back to your actions, and kind of like to Derek's point earlier, because I feel like with me trying to say that, yeah, I'm pushing movies and I'm pushing the education and so on and so forth, that there is no compromise. I think that now the climate that we're in currently, we have to talk about it. Like it's not a question because of how it has exploded. However, because we've been dating for 2 years, rewind back, there were moments where something may come up where, you know, I felt may have been racist or whatever the case may be, we have a discussion about it, and it has been, you know, good. And that be that. And we move on with regular life. I think ultimately, again, going back to the growing up in a blend, when I've dated Black men, all of those issues that you talk about, Craig, I've experienced. My last relationship was abusive as hell. And like, I got ran over by a truck by a Black man. And, you know, as a dancer, my foot was broken, my jaw was cracked. And this was 2016. All of that happened in my last relationship with a Black man. However, I've also experienced horrible relationships with white men and with Hispanic men. So I feel like ultimately men altogether shit sometimes.
That I can agree with you.
And I think that we put a lot of weight on just race, but all of those issues that we talk about, other than the black community is very hard or harder on gay men. And that's a question that we still need to tackle. But though the internalized homophobia, there are plenty of white men that I have dated that, you know, are DL too. I just think that it is disproportionately shown that Black men are more so DL or more so have this issue or what have you. And of course, being Black, those type of issues, being Black gay men, we're going to delve into those issues more so than, I don't care what, to be honest, what issues other white men go through when it comes to being gay or what have you, because I'm not white. So ultimately the gay part, we're both dealing with it because we're both gay. But there is an extra baggage that comes with being a Black gay man that, you know, we have to deal with. And I think that, again, going back to my point earlier, that's something that walking in, you should know. Kind of going back to Craig, I'm not the type of person that, as you said, Derek, last night, that is dating how did you say it, a homegrown white boy.
Oh yeah, no, we can't. Nobody white. Yeah, I don't want no American white.
Right. There should be, when you are trying to date a Black man, or you are choosing to date a Black man, there should be certain Black things or pieces of Black culture that you should know. You know, I'm educating you on other things that you may not, but you need to come into this relationship with something, because what else are we connecting on? Is it everything that I know about white culture, if that is a thing? No, there has to be that other side. You have to connect on that level. I think that I think those people that you refer to, like Don Lemon, or those people that specifically say that they're dating only white men, I think they run into those issues where they're having those uncomfortable conversations, because it's almost like you're just chasing after it, and you're finding people that for the kink or for the fetish, they're getting with a Black man. And then you run into that issue of, oh, but there is internalized racist or there's racist actions that are going to peak their heads up. And I think that's what you're kind of pointing towards, Craig, are those type of white boys, honestly, that kind of take it as a fetish, or take it as, I like, you know, the BBC or whatever the case may be, and they still have racist actions. They're not going to stand up at a Black Lives Matter march. They're not trying to understand the struggle. They're not trying to connect with you. I think ultimately it should almost be something that you should want to do, because I'm a human, and as a human, I am dealing with these things because of the color of my skin. So it shouldn't even be something that I'm giving to you as baggage. You understand? Like, it shouldn't be something that, as you said, Derek, kind of like, oh, they have to live in this every day. It should be something that you should want to. Going through all of this, I've had supervisors and white people who have reached out to me, seeing me battling on Facebook and social media for Black Lives Matter and Black Gay Lives Matter and all of that stuff, and they see me going at these people with these comments, the Karens, and the
well, that's white guilt, Theodore.
Say that again.
That's white guilt. Like don't take that all in. It's like a lot of it is white.
I'm saying that regardless of what it is, it comes. Okay. It comes, and that was also a part of the issue with my current relationship, is that I had all of that coming from people that I barely even knew, and the people that were in the family of my partner weren't reaching out and weren't saying, well, I'm seeing you arguing. So that is an issue that I'm choosing, because Craig, you've already, both of you have already established that you're not choosing to take on that issue.
Right. No,
like,
not at all.
I'm choosing to take on. There's a possibility that the person that I'm dating, that I've fallen in love with, if we're trying to build a family together, that there's going to be those issues as well. And I think that's across the board with any families coming together, any relationships that are coming together, that you're going to have those issues. I just think that we put a lot more weight on the racial part because of the history that is associated with it.
So last question for you. Have you given up on Black men?
No, not at all.
That's why I just want to make sure.
He's in a relationship now.
I just want to make sure.
He in a relationship now, so he shouldn't be looking at nobody else.
That is true.
No, that's exactly right. But what I'm saying is, I've also been able to experience both. I think coming from certain people's perspective, who have said, okay, I'm done with Black men. I feel like they, when you said, Craig, they've gone over to the other side and it's been smooth sailing. I've gone over to the other side and it hasn't been smooth sailing. So I know that at the end of the day, it's not necessarily that comment.
No, we're listening to you, but there's so many comments. We're trying to read the comments too to make sure.
I've seen them come through.
This comment right here just put me out.
So, I'm just saying, I know that men have issues, period, regardless of race. So, and that's just from my experience.
Okay, thank you, Theodore. We're gonna pop somebody else back up to round this out. We already know you looking for a white man. So if there's any eligible white man,
I want to clear that up.
No, you looking for one. You said you was on. You said that you are on a mission to find a white man. So if we have any white,
no, Derek, that is not what I said.
Ain't that what he said?
That's what I heard.
No, okay, let me clear it up real quick. I specifically said that I love dark.
Okay, hold on 1 second, Dion, because I want to say something about what Theodore said. And one of the points that Theodore made, white gay men oftentimes will choose their whiteness over their gayness. Mm-hmm. So they a lot of times won't form an alliance with Black or gay people of color, whether you're in a relationship with them or not. They'll oftentimes choose their whiteness over their gayness. But go ahead, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, to address Derek, I specifically said that I did love my dark-skinned Black men, and I love dating Black men.
Past tense. Now we talk about present tense.
I do. I'm sorry. I'm not currently dating. That's why I said did.
Okay. But you also said that you want Tinder, and you got on it,
and you swipe right on the white men, all of them.
That was a joke, y'all. That was really a joke. I swipe right to the people that I'm attracted to. I feel like love should not have limits. And I feel like when you are dating someone, I feel like you should be open, because you never know where your blessing of a partner will come from. Whether that is somebody that is Black, white, whatever type of race it is. So I feel like just to say, oh, I'm only going to date Black people, for me to say that, it's like, well, you might be discarding your upcoming blessing from God and a partner. So I just believe in love being limitless, basically. That's what I was saying. Not that I don't want to date Black and I only want to date white men.
Two questions for you. Where are you located and how old are you?
I'm in North Carolina. I'm 23 years old.
Okay. And you've never had a boyfriend yet? right? You're just starting out.
He had a boyfriend.
No, you said you've never really had a relationship, right?
Well, I've dated, yes, and I've dated a guy for 2+ years.
Did you not? No. Wait a minute. You absolutely said you've never really had a relationship. Did you not?
Yeah. No, I said I never considered them a boyfriend.
Well, that's the same thing. That's the same thing. Don't try to make me feel like I'm making shit up. I am listening. Jesus.
But yes, everybody that I've dated in the past have been black. So, yeah.
So now he's looking for somebody white.
I'm open to any race.
Okay. I just want to make sure Anthony's over here dying, honey. Okay,
but so thank you guys for the conversation.
But no, thank you for being here. I really appreciate you. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Who are you going to? Well, she thought I was going to say something right there.
Well, no, I thought I was going to let you produce this time, but you didn't produce it.
But you got to let me.
I was going to let you produce. Anthony.
Y'all are so funny. That was amazing.
I want to, first of all, so you're still open to, even though you had your experiences with white men that has not been the greatest, but are you still open to dating a white man, or?
I'm very cautiously open to dating outside of my race. And I'm going to say that because of the stigmas that black men have, that races have on black men. And like Theodore said, there may be some fetishes, like I spoke on earlier, and some things you just have to be cautious about. And that's one thing that I'm very cautious about. For me, the scope of my dating is to date another black brother. I mean, that's what I want. However, like Craig stated earlier, there are challenges in that. To be quite honest, in 2020, dating black guys is really tough because they also too have biases that they go after, and it causes you to miss out on the person that you're supposed to be with. A lot of them say, "Oh, I want mass for mass, no film bottom." You know, all of those things play a part in this colorblind topic because it really separates us from being able to be in a relationship. And then I know Craig spoke on this earlier, or maybe yesterday when you all were on, not being able to see someone two-parent household dating, whether it's 2 men, 2 women, a male and a female. A lot of people haven't seen that, so they don't know what that looks like. So even for those who are on a DL, who's sleeping with men and then going home to their baby mamas and their children, they don't know what that looks like. They don't know what it looks like to have two-parent households. So they don't know how to formulate a relationship with another person in the right manner. So that makes it harder for us gays too, to be able to date accordingly.
Well, thank you for sharing your opinion with us. And we are.
Now, I do have one thing. I want to share.
Yes.
Okay, I have a quote that I want to share.
Okay.
And this quote is something that was talked about. Okay, I follow Funky Dineva, and he had this guy, Dr. Cleo, on his page. They were talking about the disconnect between straight black men and gay black men. And I think it kind of hits home on this subject. And the quote is from a guy named Quentin Crisp. He was born in the 1900s, and he wore fingernail polish, and he was touching boundaries that no one would ever touch. And he was an Englishman. He lived in the UK. So he did a lot of writing. He was very much like you, Craig. You remind me a lot of you and Elan Harris, because you remind me so much of Elan Harris. I love Elan Harris, by the way. And I also got to meet him 3 times, too. You all remind me so much of each other. It's amazing. Okay, so the quote is, "The young always have the same problem." It's, no, that's not it. Okay, "The very purpose of existence is to reconcile the glowing opinion we have on ourselves with the appalling things that our people think about us. So how we depict ourselves is how people are going to take it." So I think that in dating, you have to show up as your full self. People will only gravitate towards you being yourself and you being authentic to that who you are, and then you'll be able to see the real them because they can't help but to show you who they are. So that's what that quote is, and I wanted to share that with everyone. Thank you.
No, thank you very much. We appreciate that. We appreciate your input.
Thank you.
All righty. We're going to drop you down. We have somebody that just popped in. You want to go to him?
Well,
you want to round out?
Yeah, we'll round out, and then we'll because we got 2 that popped in. So we'll round out with Kyle. Yeah, okay. And then we'll come down to you. So y'all 2 that we see y'all right there, so stay right there.
Kyle, did you have any last words?
Not necessarily. I haven't sworn anybody off.
What I think is that what I would say to you, Kyle, is that I appreciate your relationship. And I know Craig is trying to find a flaw in it.
No, I'm not trying to find a flaw.
Be quiet. Craig trying to find a flaw in your relationship, and you seem to got it under control.
Well, let me say this. Everybody does relationships different. What may make my relationship successful may not make someone else's relationship successful. And so I don't take anything personally or anything like that. I can only talk about what my experience has been. But I just, regardless if you date within your race, if you date out of your race, you're going to face different struggles, different hurdles, whatever the case may be. But you just have to make sure that you're well equipped to deal with whatever those struggles may be. So at the end of the day, regardless of what that is, whether it's race, whether it's, age difference, whatever it is, you have to be willing to know and be confident in yourself to know that, okay, I can handle this or I can't. And just be honest with yourself and be like, okay, that's not for me. I can't do this. Or you can.
Well, let me say this, because I was not trying to find flaws in his relationship.
No. It's okay, Craig.
No. Because communication is our partner, clarity is our friend.
Yes.
What I really wanted was to know, I want to know the grit. Like, what are the challenges that come? Because oftentimes on the surface, those who date, and I'm not saying you, Kyle, but oftentimes when Black men date white men, it's always so copacetic. They always talk about like it's peachy key. It's a walk in the park. No, let's talk about when you were with your white partner and somebody called you a nigger. Like, what did he say, or how his family doesn't accept you? I want to know the challenges.
I know, but that I understand, but that doesn't happen in every relationship.
I know it doesn't, but that's why I was digging and asking, because all of them really were kind of glossing over that, and that's really what I wanted to know.
Okay, but that wasn't here tonight.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kyle.
Thank you.
Oh, wait, how this go? Here, Craig, produce.
Oh, all right. We're gonna bring in. Is this Lelio?
Oh yeah. Hi. It's Lelio, but it's fine. My name gets butchered all the time. Pardon?
I said, how are you?
Well, thank you. How about yourselves?
I'm great.
Oh, great. Thank you.
Yeah, this conversation's been really interesting to hear what people have to say. I've been in interracial relationships before, and it's not necessarily easier. In fact, in some cases, it's a lot harder because as a Black person in the relationship, you constantly have to be explaining the sorts of references that you're coming from. You have to constantly explain. I mean, like with my ex, for instance, I had to tell him why I had to go to bed with a bonnet. And it's like, to him, it's confusing. And then telling him things like, yeah, I don't know. There's just a lot of things you have to navigate, but yeah, it's hard.
So are you currently in a relationship with someone white?
No, but most of my exes were Caucasian, yes.
It was that by choice, preference, or?
It was.
I think you put a comment in here earlier that said most Black guys overlook you or don't consider dating you. Is that, did I read that right?
Right. From my personal experience, just asking friends and stuff, I used to ask, why is it that I'm not being approached by a lot of Black men? And I was told that it's because of the way I behave, the way I talk. Apparently, there's something called talking white.
Well, that's having all these. I'm about to actually ask you, do you find yourself having to prove that you're Black enough to your Black friends?
Yes, all the time. All the time. I constantly have to. I grew up all over the place. The one thing is I grew up in Southeast Africa and Southeast Asia. So I didn't have a lot of Black people around. Well, in Africa, there were Black people around me, but I didn't have many out Black men around me.
Which goes to the point that I was making earlier about like sometimes when you ascend in your career or in your education, once you become well-traveled, well-educated, well-versed, all of those things, it's almost like there's a gap between you and this other community of Black people. And and not all, for the Black people that are watching, you know, I'm pro-Black, but oftentimes there are Black folks who feel intimidated by you because they feel like you're this different kind of black.
Yeah. And it's to speak on that point that you just brought up, a lot of people have actually told me just after a few weeks of knowing me, they'd be like, oh, for the longest time, I thought you didn't want to even be around queer black men. And ironically, it's the opposite. I'm more drawn to black men in the queer community. But for some reason, a guy actually once told me, you gave me white boy vibes the first time I met you, to which I was like, that's really weird. It's really weird.
See, and once again, and it is unfortunately us as black people, we put our own stereotypes on each other, you know, and we don't allow ourselves to think outside those stereotypes. And if you look a certain way, act a certain way, speak a certain way, we put you in this box that doesn't belong over here with us,
right?
You know, and that's not fair to you, and that's not fair to us. But so would you have you dated a black man before?
Yeah, I've never been in a serious long-term relationship with one, but I've had flings.
Okay, gotcha. So you already had long-term relationships with white men? Yes. Gotcha. But would you like to be in a relationship with a black man?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm actively looking for that right now, but it's just not happened.
Yeah, me too. I'm actively looking for one too. Listen, thank you for your don't start, Craig. Thank you for your insight on that.
And listen, if this man didn't come scoop me up recently, then I was going to be looking for other.
But thank you so much, Dial.
Thank you. Have a good night.
You too.
Wow. We wrapped everybody up? Well, we went there, everybody.
Oh, yeah, we did.
Listen, I appreciate you guys. I mean, I know some of you understood exactly what I was saying, and I know some of you completely took what I've said and called me racist. So be it. But I'm not apologizing for how I feel.
It's okay. But you know what? That is the power of this platform.
Yeah.
You can say what you want to say and say how you feel and stand strong in it. Yeah. And you know what? This is the first time I've seen you stand 10 toes down on something. Because you normally waver. You real? No, I don't. You blowing the wind.
No, I don't.
You be real rocky. But today you stood in it, and you stood in it, and you stood tall. With that being said, our next conversation.
So
move all your stuff out the way, child.
Oh, what's that?
All your, put down here, honey, just run a timer.
Oh.
Yeah, so we can get all the information. We got to get up
Girl.
You know,
somebody
said, did Craig take off your YouTube page? Child, you might as well say so. He got commercials. He got running tickers.
Girl, when you get you some commercials, we can run them through here as well. Well, look, Derek is working on some projects. When your thing is ready, we're going to run your commercials as well. But right now, we running mine. But no, our next conversation is about body shaming. All right? Let me put it up. I'm gonna move up.
Yes, it's
body shaming.
It's about body shaming. So this is different than no fats, no films. This is body shaming all the way across the board. Fat, skinny, short, tall, muscular, too muscular, everything. So it's all about body shaming. If you felt it, if you experienced it, all those things, I was trying to read that.
I see.
Yeah, because I like to say Derek was fair. Then it said Craig was fair, and I stopped reading.
All right.
But yeah, it's all about body shaming. So if you experience body shaming, if you experience, that
type of discrimination.
Yeah.
Because not just because you're overweight, maybe because you're thin, or like he said,
or you're too tall,
or you're too muscular.
Or you too. I mean,
right.
It's a lot of things that fall into body shame. If you body shame yourself,
right?
A lot of people do that.
We want to hear from you. The email address to email us and to participate in this conversation is glmconvo@gmail.com. We need a picture of you, a phone number, and a very brief.
Y'all don't know how to do brief. I mean, we say it every time, but
I don't understand why you care how long it is anyway, because you don't read none of the shit. I read all of the emails.
Well, because Craig doesn't have a job, so right when the thing dings, he's like, "Oh," and I'd be like, "I be at work. I be working."
So you think I don't do anything at all? But...
No, at all. You wait on emails. So, oh my God. Yeah, you email.
So I see your comments, like they're like, oh my God, I wish I could participate in this conversation. This is how you participate. So email us here, glmconvo@gmail.com. We want to hear from you guys. And remember, a picture, very brief, reason why you want to participate, and a phone number. And if you want to support us in this platform, here it is right here. Our Cash Apps, respectively, are right there. We need your support. Send something through the super chat. This shit ain't free, okay? Now listen, if I have to go back to work, don't be emailing me talking about what happened to those conversations y'all used to do.
So we had to go back to work.
We had to go back to work. Hello?
But thank you guys tonight. And we'll see you guys in 2 weeks for body shaming.
Yes, for body shaming. So again, we're going to post the flyer across our social medias. Across our social media, and we're gonna announce the next one. So please share this particular conversation with your Facebook groups and all of that good stuff. All right, have an amazing night, and we will see you guys soon. Be safe.
Yes, and go to sleep and all that other good stuff.
Well, I usually close my shows with brush your teeth, floss your teeth, and brush your tongue. And get down on your knees and say your prayers. Be grateful for something.
And y'all have a good night.
Bye.
Bye.